Welcome back to Kiesel News, everybody. Now, I know I don't usually cover topics that are this heavy on Kiesel News, but I did want to talk about how Iran's president was killed in a helicopter crash. Now, it's come out that apparently the cause of the crash was a technical difficulty, which you could definitely believe with the amount of crashes that have been happening lately. Like, I'm surprised the dude wasn't on a Boeing flight. But I don't blame people for assuming that Israel could have been involved, especially with all the recent tensions, right? Like, what are the chances that something like this happens during a time where Iran could be left at its most vulnerable? Now, obviously, we have no proof, and I don't want to be the one to make any accusations when I have no real extra knowledge on this whatsoever. I just wanted to report on it. But I will say, I don't think we should be calling the people who think that Israel was responsible conspiracy theorists. Because conspiracy theorists are fucking nuts. They have a really bad rep, right? And it's not that far fetched to believe that Israel could have potentially been involved. Now for two more news stories that everybody and their mother has been talking about. First, we have how a Taiwanese parliament member stole a bill and ran away with it when they were in parliament. What I haven't seen a lot of people mention is that apparently the bill that he ran away with was related to how people should be punished for making false statements in Parliament. So it's funny that he got in trouble in Parliament for trying to stop a bill from being passed that was going to harm people who got in trouble in Parliament. As funny as all the memes from the situation and just the situation in general has been, I hope this doesn't start like a TikTok trend type of thing where all these people in parliament who are like bored as fuck, they start doing like weird things in parliament to get more attention. Imagine that becomes the new TikTok trend. On a more serious note, though, I hope it doesn't become a trend because bills should always be fully discussed and decided upon with logic. I know, what a base take, right? But if you have someone stealing a bill and running away with it just because they don't agree with it, it defeats the whole purpose of going to Parliament in the first place, where you debate on the issue. It's just one person taking matters into their own hands. But actually, we're on Kiesel News here. Who cares about the actual repercussions of stealing a bill, right? We need to actually analyze the ethics of this. As others have pointed out, the bill is likely just stored on someone's computer, so they could just print it off and you have another copy of the bill right there. So instead of trying to run away with the physical copy, just go on a rampage and either destroy the person's computer or hire a hacker to hack into their account and delete their account, which will entirely remove the bill. Fucking sounds like something out of Persona 5. The Phantom Thieves stop a corrupt politician from passing a bill by deleting it by hacking the computer that possesses the bill or some shit. The other news story that a lot of people have been talking about is the Bluey event, where kids were essentially promised a Bluey meet and greet, but all that they got was a dude in a Bluey onesie who didn't even make an effort to create an actual costume. It seems like he didn't even have a full helmet or mask either, and you could see his beard. It'd be like if for Minecraft's 15th anniversary, Mojang did a Steve meet and greet for kids, but it was just a dude wearing a creeper shirt. Now, I was originally prepared to defend the organizers of this event, as I thought the parents genuinely expected, like, an AI recreation of Bluey or some shit. And at the end of the day, The families probably still got their meal out of it, so it's not like they lost any money or nothing. But if the dude isn't even gonna put on an effort to make an actual Bluey costume, just fuck off, bro. Now that we got the serious news stories out of the way, let's pivot to some film news, shall we? First, we have Vincent D'Onofrio confirming that Daredevil Born Again will in fact pick up a whole bunch of plot threads from the Netflix Daredevil series, as opposed to how it originally wasn't going to before the creative overhaul, essentially being a full-on reboot. This is just even more evidence that the creative overhaul was the best idea, even if it means it gets further delayed. Because, come on, it's really a no-brainer to connect Daredevil Born Again to the previous seasons of Daredevil. I get that they maybe don't want audiences to feel bogged down, especially since most of the casual audience of the MCU probably hasn't watched all of Daredevil. But that's why you utilize the narrative tool known as flashbacks. Anything that would have to be explained from the previous series, you could literally just throw in a 5-minute flashback. Just straight up reuse a scene from the old show, and no one would complain. Well, aside from Twitter, but none of the hardcore Marvel fans would complain. They just want to see more Daredevil. So just throw in 5-minute flashbacks. Then you have to make less content as well. You get away with less content. Speaking of Marvel not wanting to bog viewers down, it's been stated that it's now the goal with the Marvel Disney Plus shows to be able to watch them all independently. So you don't need to watch Agatha all along to enjoy Daredevil, for example. This isn't really news. The shows have already been doing this. Have you needed to watch She-Hulk to enjoy Falcon and the Winter Soldier? No. Have you needed to watch WandaVision to enjoy Hawkeye? No. But the main debate that people are having regarding this issue is if it's a good thing or not. And I think it is. People really overstate how connected the MCU really was in the Infinity Saga. Like, basically all of the movies were pretty much standalone. Like, you had the occasional major cameo like Hulk and Thor Ragnarok, or Iron Man and Spider-Man Homecoming. But other than that, the characters were mostly just sticking to their own films. However, it's because there was so few projects in comparison to what we have now that these rare crossovers felt more common than they actually were. Like, yeah, Phase 4 probably should have had more connections with the amount of projects that we had. But if you compare it to Phase 1, the first phase of the Infinity Saga, there was only one major crossover there, being the Avengers. So, to sum up my thoughts, I do think that we need some more crossovers, especially now that there's more projects, but overall, the projects should mostly remain standalone. Or what they could do is have all the TV shows remain mostly standalone with just references, and then have the movies, which are supposed to be the bigger events in the MCU, house all the crossovers. It would ensure that you get audiences in seats for the films, as everybody loves cameos, and then you could tell the real hidden gem stories on Disney Plus for the hardcore Marvel fans who are willing to pay for it. For our last major story today, Multivurses is officially launching May 28th, guys. Let's go. And on top of that, Jason, as well as Agent Smith from The Matrix, are being added as new characters. So I guess this answers what the first initiative in the Jason universe is. It's his Multiverses appearance. So really, what's next for the Jason universe, bro? Are we gonna get like Jason condoms? Are we gonna get like Jason body pillows? I don't really have much to say as Agent Smith from The Matrix, as I'm not really a huge Matrix fan, but the interesting part is that more villains have been teased, as the entire first season seems to have a gimmick around villains that are going to help Joker. This means that Walter White, Gus Fring, or Lalo Salamanca really could come to Multiverses, guys. Or imagine if Warner Bros. Decided to add a Ruby character, or a Ruby villain, like Salem, after shutting down Rooster Teeth. That'd be a fucking kick in the face. Like, oh yeah, we shut you down, but we're still gonna use your character. Maybe they could get real meta and add David Zaslav himself as the new villain. He has his very own special where he writes characters off as tax write offs. In all seriousness, place your predictions for potential villains and multiverses in the comments below. I'm curious for who you think is going to come in. Lastly, I just wanted to throw in a quick mention that a new show called Ayanu Child of Wonder is finally premiering on Cartoon Network. Now, I have no real clue what this show is about, but I just think it's awesome that Cartoon Network is actually getting a new show for once. When's the last time that has actually happened? It is coming to Max as well, so Cartoon Network won't get to have the full glory of a new show, but hey, it's something. I genuinely think they only premiered like 2 new shows last year. Fucking insane drought.